Hey, welcome back to the channel, my fellow weather junkies. I'm your host, Greg Majeski, your personal weatherman here, bringing you the weather without all that social media hype here on your Saturday, December 14th, 2024. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we're tracking here as we're expecting a brief warm-up coming our way as we enter into the new work week, but please just don't get used to it because we got another pre-Christmas cold snap coming. It's going to be another one of those hit-and-run jobs that'll be coming in just before the holiday, and we'll get into specifics on that. And of course, we'll be leading into the Christmas forecast. We'll take a look at the latest models on that, see how that's trending, to see if there's going to be any snow potential out there or not. Now, before we get into this, first, I do want to greet and thank all the new subscribers here to the channel. And if you're that 60% who've not yet subscribed to the channel and you'd like to make this a regular part of your YouTube feed, please help this guy out. Please hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you learn about future content. And as always, please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment down below as it does help with YouTube algorithm. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we're looking at on our satellite imagery here for this morning. As we got some rains and freezing rain across portions of Iowa here for this morning, as we got some freezing, some ice storm warnings into that portion of the country. Got moisture out here in the west as well, and that rain continuing to batter Northern California right there. Not too bad across the southeast for the moment, and not looking too bad across the southwest as well. All right, let's look at the West Coast. Again, we're getting inundated here. We got a pretty good storm system coming in here into Northern California. Get a little bit of a break here for a few days, and then we get some more moisture that'll come back in a little bit later in the week. Also see another low pressure system here just to the north of Seattle heading up into British Columbia. Now, as far as our latest watches and warnings, we got numerous advisories here in the high plains, and you notice this deep purple in here. This is where that target zone is for some of the ice storm warning that's in there. Also seeing a lot of winter storm warnings out here in California as well, and across some of the intermountain regions. But we're going to focus in on this area right here. I want to show you the latest radar in here, and temperatures are sitting here in the upper 20s across this portion of Iowa. So as this moisture and this rain comes over the top of that, it's going to freeze on contact, and freezing rain is nothing to definitely play with, especially on bridges and overpasses and things like that. So hopefully folks in this part of the country are just staying inside, maybe watch the Army-Navy game for today, because definitely we're dealing with slick, icy roads. You don't want to be part of that. Now, as far as the rest of our national map here is concerned, again, we've got cold Arctic high pressure that's settling into the northeast. Again, this was the real cold stuff that was been moving off toward the east here. It's going to be setting up to a wedge position here. So tomorrow, heading into the southeast, it's going to be kind of cold, damp, and dreary down here across the Carolinas and coming into northeast Georgia. This rain will be kind of dissipating a little bit as it gets a little bit closer, and we'll continue with the intermountain snows and stuff out here into California. And the good news is I think California will get a little bit of a break here coming on here in the next few days. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the latest here from the Storms Prediction Center, as we're going to be taking a look at where we're expecting a few thunderstorms here over the next several days. And your day one outlook, of course, this is for your Saturday. Seeing a pretty good chunk of the middle portion of the country. You may see a rumble of thunder with some of this rain that's going to be moving in here. And we're also getting a little bit out here on the West Coast as well. And just a little sliver, and I mean a tiny little slither there, showing maybe a marginal risk maybe of a severe thunderstorm right around the San Francisco Bay Area. But it really shouldn't be that big a deal, looking pretty quiet for the most part. So what about the day two outlook? Well, that is going to change just a little bit here as we take a look at day two. That, again, it just mostly kind of shrinks down a little bit here across the middle of the country from Missouri back over toward Texas. Down there, we're talking about down toward Dallas and getting over toward Little Rock a little bit there with a rumble thunder threat there. And as far as our day three outlook, how's that looking? Let's go take a look at Monday, the new work week, and also looking at some thunderstorms there across the south central portion of the United States, across Arkansas, Oklahoma, Texas, and into Louisiana. But again, not expecting any organized threats of severe weather here over the next 3 days, just a general thunderstorm threat. So some good news on that front. Now, as far as the heavy rain threat is concerned, we're going to isolate that mostly here just to the West Coast, and this is only for 1 day. So again, we're just talking about this area here where we're getting the heavy rains for today. Around San Francisco Bay Area, there north there into the vineyard and the wine country area, seeing some heavy rains. That'll continue for today, but then we should start to get a little bit of a break coming our way, and things should get a little bit better there across portions of California. Now, what about the high resolution model here? Let's go ahead and take a look at that. I've got this on the mode where we can see the different layers of winter precipitation here over the next 18 hours. So let's go ahead and take a look at that right here. As we're going to be seeing that, again, the main threat is going to be the freezing rain that we're seeing here across the middle portion of the country there through Iowa. See the heavy rains out here and the heavy snows out here across the Sierra Nevada as well, as we're going to continue this throughout the day. So looks like that pinkish stuff's going to start to spread off toward the east as it continues to move up toward the north. So just a lot of plain old rain as that Arctic air is very shallow and it is definitely clearing on out there. But in that pink zone in there is that wintry mix. See the snows there increasing across portions of Iowa as well. And you're also noticing the snows out here increasing across portions of Idaho, heading into Montana and portions of northern Nevada as well throughout the day as we go into your Sunday. So looks like this rain will continue to move off toward the east. We'll see that snow picking up here across the west a little bit and just kind of a wintry mix there across portions of Michigan as well as we go into your Sunday. So that's going into Saturday and going into your Sunday. Now, what about the overall jet stream pattern here? Again, this is going to be a little bit of a mess here, at least briefly. We got these little impulses here that we're going to be watching that'll continue to track across the country. So this is that one little energy that's kind of pulling out into areas of New England. That's the rain in the middle of the country. It'll progress off toward the east here. We got another little energy coming here off the west coast as well. And as this goes ahead and tracks on in, that'll move off toward the east. And then as we go into, again, we're definitely seeing more of a zonal flow here across the nation, but that's going to be temporary as we're going to be tapping some of this cold air up here as we head toward next weekend. That's when the cold stuff comes down. You start seeing it there on the 18th. We get a little bit of a push of some cold air briefly. This will kind of be a brief little hit and run here. But it's the one behind this one going into the 21st and 22nd that'll be catching my eye here as we see a little dive here. Not as pronounced as what it was showing yesterday. The American GFS model during the day was going bonkers with it. It's backed off as well. So some good news there as we're not looking at a true Arctic invasion. This will be another one of those hit and run jobs going in toward into the 22nd. So we got the jet stream doing this kind of action here. We're bringing that cold air across the Great Lakes and across the eastern third of the United States going in toward the 22nd. But it does appear as we head toward Christmas, if you want to know how Christmas is looking here, going into toward the 24th. So we'll stop it here on the 24th. We've got another little dive in the jet stream here in the middle of the country with the system right through there. These are just little hit and runs here with energy. This is going to drop off a cutoff low, but it does appear that most of the cold air is going to be locked up here toward the north. So I'm looking at a jet stream that's kind of doing like this. We got a little cutoff here of some cold air there. So it does look like the temperatures will begin to modify as we head toward Christmas Day, and then finishing up the last week of the year does appear that will stay fairly active, but not overly bad. It does not appear that we'll see any major storm systems here as we get ready to wrap up the end of the year, the way the current European model is looking. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the precipitation here as I back this up here. As you go ahead and you see that precipitation moving here off toward the east, is we'll see a little bit of snow going into Monday here. Monday morning, we'll see a little snow here across portions of New York and heading into Pennsylvania. A little snow here across up near areas of the Dakotas, and we still got some rain coming in here on the west coast with higher elevation snows there on your Monday. So we'll continue to track this on through. We can see that system here kind of moving across the north there, bringing it into the northeast there with a little bit of rain. But the cold air, you notice, is really not making any dives south, not just yet. Here's where we will watch this initial dive here coming down. We'll get some cold air right here with this system. But again, nothing that's too intrusive. It'll just kind of come on down, get a little brief cool down across the southeast. We'll see some snows there across New England. So it looks like the snowy areas in the interior sections of New England will be snowy before heading into Christmas Day. The Great Lakes, which have seen upwards of 3 to 4 feet of snow, like around Buffalo, they had some really massive lake effect snows once again from the most recent cold snap. And then we got another little clipper system here coming into areas there into the 20th. So there's that cold snap coming into the New England once again. We'll get the lake effects turned on once again heading into next weekend. And then that'll move off toward the north and east. And then as we go in toward Christmas Day, so this is going into your Christmas Eve. And Christmas Eve, this is Christmas Eve morning here, really not looking bad. Got a little snow here across the northeast, got a little rain down here across the south. We got rainy weather out here in the west. So any travel plans not looking overly bad. Not as clear as it was back on Thanksgiving, but not looking bad. And then going into Christmas Day, again, looking kind of mild here for the most part, just looking wet and rainy here across a big portion of the southeast here. Expected a little wet weather there, maybe a little snow across portions of extreme northern New England. But those wanting a white Christmas, looks like a lot of the country is pretty warm. Again, I look for that blue line. That's that freezing line right here, and it is way far north. So again, we'll see temperatures going above average the way it's trending right now. If this model's hard. The model consistency, I'll say, has been a little rough here lately beyond about 7 days, but this is what the current model is showing here as of December the 14th. So this rain moves on up to the north as we go into the 26th, and we're going to take this all the way out here as, again, it looks like we're not seeing any big major storm systems over the next 2 weeks. In fact, the trend is overall expecting fairly dry weather for a big portion of the country with just a couple intermittent cold shots brought in here for good measure. Now, we got the rain totals. We'll look at this over the next 10 days. I like to take this out to about 10 days here as we look at the outlook here. And it looks like that will continue to see the rains there across areas of the mid-Atlantic going back into the mid-South here. And we'll take this out to 240. We'll stop it right there. So decent rains, not bad, but here across this portion, still staying big dry here across the four corners. Very wet and rainy out there on the West Coast, obviously. But overall rainfall totals are down from what December is typically a pretty wet month. And outside of the West Coast, most of the country is looking fairly dry, below normal precipitation, the way that's looking, at least for the next 10 days here on the latest precipitation outlook. Now, I do want to highlight this. This is for your Saturday. Again, some of these icy levels up in here, getting over a half inch to 3/4 inch. That could cause some problems there across eastern portions of Iowa. Looking at maybe some sporadic power outages, not out of the question if that ice levels are looking that way for accumulated freezing rain. So again, if you're in that portion of the country into Iowa, just stay home and stay out of this. It should warm up once this goes on by, and hopefully things will begin to improve there across that area as we go in towards your Sunday. Now, as far as snow is concerned, let's go ahead and take a look at this out here. Again, the West Coast stays busy with the snow. We're going to get some more New England snows as we go into this upcoming week. Got that storm coming in here going into Wednesday and Thursday. So you notice as we head into Thursday, we're adding a little snow there across portions of the Appalachians, going up into Vermont, in New Hampshire, and into Maine. And we're definitely seeing snowy conditions out here in the West Coast for sure, heading in for this upcoming Thursday and Friday. Now, as we head toward Christmas, we do have another storm coming in here for next weekend, so we'll get the lake effects turned on there, and it looks like we'll add to the snow totals across the Northeast, the Great Lakes going into Christmas Day, and that's about it. So it looks like the typical snow zones here are going to be under the gun. The Northeast, the Great Lakes, and the Intermountain West. Looks like that's going to be. So no surprise snow events for you, anybody hoping for something of a surprise down south. It doesn't appear that way right now. We're getting closer and closer, but once we're inside about 7 days out, which we'll probably know by this upcoming Wednesday on how the models are behaving as far as that precipitation chances are concerned. Let's go ahead and take a look at the cold weather again. We got the initial cold shot that we came in earlier this week. That's going to be clearing on out. So throughout the day on Sunday, I mean, we're looking at milder temperatures across a big portion of the country there on Sunday. And as we go into the early portion of the week. So going into Monday, you're looking at Monday here, a big portion of the country looking at above normal temperatures for December. Now, we do have a cold shot that's going to be coming down. We got initial cool shot coming down here heading into Wednesday. Not overly bad, but it does cool the temperatures there across the eastern third going into your Wednesday and Thursday. But the more significant shot's going to come down as we head into the following weekend. So we got this cold plunge coming down there. There it is, heading into Thursday and Friday. You notice quite nippy here across the Great Lakes and areas there of the high plains once again. I don't think this one will be quite as cold as the previous one where we had that minus 20 degree temperatures. Don't think it'll be quite that bad. Definitely milder out here in the west as we head toward the 21st. And then as this goes on by, this quickly begins to warm up. It stays cold through the weekend. And then as we go toward Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, it looks like a lot of the country begins to see, this is Christmas Eve, a lot of the country looking at above normal temperatures there for Christmas. And then again, going in toward Christmas Day, outside of maybe some areas here across the south, most of the country is looking with above normal temperatures going into Christmas Day as well. And we'll take this all the way on out here as it looks like winter's going to take a little bit of a break here as we wrap up the rest of December. This is going out to December the 28th there. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the Climate Prediction Center stuff. There was some major changes on this outlook that was put out yesterday. I want to go and get this to you. Obviously, going from the 19th to the 23rd, an advertisement of that cold shot that's coming down. We got below normal temperatures here in the east, mild temperatures here in the west. That kind of holds on till the 21st to the 27th. Looking at the latest models, I don't know about that, but with that cutoff feature coming in here, maybe we stay with below normal temperatures in the southeast, but a big chunk of the country looking at above normal temperatures as we head out from the 21st to the 27th. Precipitation-wise, obviously for you guys wanting white Christmas, you got to have chances of precipitation. Not seeing a whole lot of this. This is below normal precipitation over a big part of the country, especially that 6 to 10 day outlook. The 10-day outlook I just showed you, it definitely mirrors this as a big part of the country looking at below normal precipitation chances, except for areas along the east coast there and maybe a little bit there heading into the Pacific Northwest. And then taking this further out, the 21st to the 27th, I mean, we're pretty much looking at below normal precipitation chances here for a big part of the country, where the Gulf of Mexico is kind of closed off. We're not getting any real big major storm systems to form. Main reason is because the jet streams are working against each other. They're not in phase, so we're not getting any major storm systems develop here as we wrap up December. So that's the way it's looking for the moment. So at least we get a little bit of a break here coming our way as we head in toward this upcoming week. We get a little bit of a break there. Just you folks in the middle of the country dealing with that icy weather. Again, just take it easy. Be off the roads and just stay safe. Stay at home for a little bit. And then we'll see, again, a brief warm-up before that. A real big cold snap comes down next weekend. I'm glad the models backed off that. Originally, it looked like it was going to be a real Arctic dump. The American GFS model was advertising that yesterday. It was looking really, really bad, but it is definitely backed off for today. And as we get closer to it, we'll be able to fine-tune and tell you exactly where this cold air is going to set up. But it doesn't look like appear to be another hit-and-run event with that. And Christmas Day travel is going into Christmas week. Doesn't look that bad. Obviously, we'll get you a better indication for you guys getting on the roads and heading to family and friends for Christmas, and we'll give you a better forecast on that as well. Now, hey, before I go ahead and disembark from this update, if you haven't yet subscribed, once again, I would like to personally give you an invitation to please do so. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're alerted on future content. And as always, please leave me a comment down below, give me a thumbs up. I do appreciate you guys helping to support this ever-growing small little weather channel here in the YouTube universe. All right, that's it, guys. You take it easy, be good, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next update. Bye, guys.